Hi, Terry VanNoy. Welcome to Math Class with Terry V. Hope this video helps you out, and if you enjoy it, please share it, comment, or like it. And you can also go to my website, MathPowerLine.com. It's a math resource blog, lesson videos for students, and other resources for parents and teachers. Give me a call or go to my website or email. All right, let's go to today's lesson. On the previous video, I went over the basics of what the unit circle is and how the angles are created. Now we're going to talk and focus more about radians versus degrees. Okay, converting radians to degrees and degrees to radians. Now, if you watched that previous video, you've seen this diagram before, and this is the unit circle. And notice how we go from here to here, and it's one full unit long. And the idea is that we spin the angle around all the way. And in this case, we have 90 degrees is pi over 2. So pi over 2 radians is the same as 90 degrees. Pi radians is 180 degrees. And 270 is 3 pi over 2. And so on. So how do we convert from degrees to radians and radians to degrees? Well, the concept is, and the only thing you basically have to remember, is that 1 radian unit, which is pi, is equal to 180 degrees. Okay? So this is the critical part to remember right here. Pi is the same as 180 degrees. So the key to converting degrees to radians, radians to degrees, is to just remember this fact here, that 180 degrees is the same as pi radians. So if we are going to have 180 degrees divided by pi radians, okay, that's a representation of 1. So if we're going to convert radians into degrees, we're going to multiply it by 180 over pi, and that will give us degrees. Here's an example. What is 2 pi over 3 converted into degrees? Well, we're going to multiply it by 180 over pi, and here's how you remember that. The pi radians is on the top, and radians is in the denominator of the fraction you're multiplying by. This conversion fraction, if you put pi on the bottom, then that is going to cancel out that pi on the top, and you will end up with degrees. So let's go ahead and do 2 pi times 180, and that would be 360 pi over 3 pi. That's how these pi's will cancel out, and we can also cancel a factor of 3 out of each, which will give me 120 degrees. Now let's check that on the unit circle. Yes, 2/3 pi is the same as 120 degrees. Alright, that was pretty easy. Convert 5 pi over 4, which is 5/4 pi, into degrees. Well, we're going to use the conversion ratio of 180 over pi, because remember that 180 degrees is the same as pi radians. And let's put that together. So it'd be 900 pi over 4 pi. The pi's will always cancel out, and we can divide a factor of 4 out of each number, which will give us 225 degrees. Now we're going to check this back on the unit circle diagram to see if we're right. Here it is, and yes, 5/4 pi is the same as 225 degrees. Very good. So in these two examples, we use the conversion ratio of 180 over pi. Notice how the pi is in the denominator because it'll cancel out the pi in the radians that you start with. Alright, now we're going to go from degrees to radians. And in this case, we're going to use the conversion ratio of pi over 180. All right, notice how degrees 180 is in the denominator. A first example, converting 300 degrees into radians. Well, use the conversion ratio of pi over 180. And again, notice the degrees is in the denominator, so that unit will cancel out. And so we will have 300 pi over 180, and now we have to do some simplifying. I should be able to divide each of these by a factor of 60, which will leave a 3 in the denominator and a 5 in the numerator. The answer is 5 pi over 3, or 5/3 pi. Let's check the unit circle. Yes, there it is. 5/3 pi, same as 300 degrees. All right, let's do another example. Know what 60 degrees is as a radian measure. So use the conversion ratio, pi over 180. The 180 is in the denominator, which cancels out the degree units. And so we are going to have 60 pi over 180. And of course, when we simplify that, we're going to get 1/3 pi, or pi over 3. Pi over 3 radians is the same as 60 degrees. Let's check the unit circle. 60 degrees is pi over 3, or 1/3 pi. All right, very good. So, quick review here. If you're going to change a radian measure into degrees, use the conversion ratio 180 over pi. The pi has to be in the denominator. All right, what if you're going to go from degrees to radians? You flip that over and use pi over 180. Okay, it's very easy to remember. Just remember that halfway across the circle, or a half turn, is 180 degrees, and that's the same as pi. All right, next video we're going to actually do some problem sets here and be naming some angles and also converting from degrees to radians. So check it out. Thanks for watching. All right, there you have it. I invite you to go to my website now, MathPowerLine.com, or email me or give me a call. The way I work best with students is live online in my classroom. So if I can help you in any way, answer some specific questions, the first lesson with me is free as I show you how everything works. All right, study hard,